Hello everyone, this is Sensei Starman and welcome back to Let's Play Superhero League of Hoboken. Well, I have a confession to make. This is my third attempt at trying to record this section of the game. The first one went through without a hitch until I got further on and realized I accidentally wound up destroying one of the items I needed to finish a quest later on, which is supposed to be impossible, but I apparently found the one item that you could get around this protection with. And I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate that now so you do not suffer the same mistake that I did. The irony being that the second time I tried recording this, the game crashed on me. So we are going to go ahead and leave here and get one quest done right off the bat, because you might remember we had this mansion. The Huntington Warlord's mansion. You are in a generously sized foyer. Although the paint is peeling and pieces of the ornamental woodwork are missing or askance, this building is a palace compared to the squalor of the surrounding village huts. A doorway leads out to the south. You see a slightly wobbly table here. We look at the table. As you take a closer look at the table, you discover that someone has attempted to minimize the wobbling by placing an object under one of the table legs. A black videotape with a plain white label. Well, let's look at it. And yeah, this causes the game to lock up. For some reason. And trying to exit out causes it to shrink to a window, and we can't do anything, and Task Manager is not letting me in the task, so okay, there we go. So let us quickly restart the game and try and get through the deafening when we start music. Now that I've demonstrated that little problem, let me show you the other problem. After we get the music turned down. Thank you. Okay, so we'll have to go and get the tape, but we will be able to do what I wanted to show you while we're at the mansion. So you look at the table. We take the tape without looking at it. Do not look at the tape because it causes everything to freeze up. Anyway. You might recall that last time we recruited King Midas and brought him into our party. Midas, who has the power to transform anything he touches into a muffler. Now, one very helpful thing that the game does in most respects is that if you attempt to use his power on something you might need, like, say, a subway pass.
I'd better not. We may need it just as it is.
But if we're using something like the oil-eating microbes we've had since the beginning, or the warranty that we picked up and have finished with, the warranty turns into a muffler. And we'll take a look at the muffler. Sort of a squash cylinder, oval in cross-section with a pipe sticking out either end. It looks old and dented and useless. And what happens if we try and transform the muffler into a muffler?
Tape, that already is a muffler.
Well, let's try the metal rod.
A scarf is often called a muffler.
Yeah, the metal rod turns into a muffler. Well, actually a scarf. We can also take this printout.
Oops.
And he turns it into a shuffler. It appears to be a device for shuffling cards. Luckily, you can just keep transforming the same item at a certain point, which will also keep you from...
Maybe we'll find a pillow.
Also accidentally keep you from destroying something, but yes, we get a pillow fluffer.
I suppose a buffer is fine if floors are the only thing you need to clean.
Yeah, okay. The floor buffer vanishes, replaced by a herd of buffalo. Confused by the strange surroundings, they stampede away, perhaps in the direction of buffalo, causing considerable injury to the party. Buffalo must have been pretty scared, as they react as animals often do when they're pretty scared, voiding bodily wastes in every direction. Robo-Mop, stoic as ever, quietly cleans the resulting mess. You sense a tacit agreement among the party members not to discuss the incident. But we can also try and transform the brochure. Undaunted by previous failures, you place the brochure within reach of the king. Summoning all his concentration, Midas touches the brochure, turning it into a stunning diamond-studded cufflink. Princess Glovebox coos all over it. But can we transform the cufflink? Yes, we can. Resolutely hoping for the best, you hand the cufflink to Midas. His efforts produce a Kevlar vest. A bit far from the mark, perhaps, but why look a gift horse in the mouth? You can always use another piece of armor. This is, in fact, one of the best pieces of armor in the game. Pardon me. Let's try the loose board.
It's a really delicious-looking muffin.
It appears to be an apple rhubarb muffin just like Mom never used to make. But we can transform the muffin.
It would be just darling with my uniform. But I better keep my hands free.
Yep, it becomes a fur-lined muff. Gloves would appear to be more practical, but perhaps less fashionable. The guys in the party snicker at you as you put your hands inside the muff. I was just looking to see if there's anything inside, you say, quickly withdrawing your hands. But we can transform the muff as well. Tournament stops you and pulls aside. Look, Tape, do we really need another muffler? Against the advice of your comrades, you give the muff to Midas. Inspired by your show of faith, the king takes his best shot and produces a muffler. After so many failures, the party cannot contain its joy and breaks into applause. Midas proudly displays his handiwork to each member. Oxide Man, unable to contain his enthusiasm over his partner's success, takes the muffler, causing it to rust away to nothing. The euphoria of the party subsides. We don't need the Pappy outfit anymore. The king barely touches the puppy outfit, which transforms and fades away. In its place, leaving a mufti, a professional jurist who interprets Islamic law. Distraught to find himself in a heathen computer game, the jurist makes loud proclamations against you, your ancestors, your party's ancestors, your ancestors' parties, etc. Midas, miffed by his mufti muff, drags him off. Now let's transform the bust of Pat Buchanan. The king's touch dissolves the bust of Pat Buchanan, but nothing replaces it. Instead, a thunderous guffaw rocks the room. Startled party members grab their weapons, enter defensive crouches, and prepare for the worst. Then, seeing the flush in the king's cheeks, they realize what's happened, and gradually return to a relaxed posture. Well, we can also transform the greeting card. At the king's powerful touch, the greeting card vanishes. Something starts to take form. It looks like a mobster. Wait, many mobsters. It's a mafia. Nothing, what's a mafia with you? Two heavily armed gangs exchange unpleasant words as the party takes cover. The gangs, apparently mortal enemies, begin shooting out with very advanced weaponry. We could sure use some of those phase disruptors, mutters Princess Glovebox. Unfortunately, the semi-automatic disintegrator ray is put an end to the combatants and the combatants' weaponry. But how about the bulb? Persistence is a good quality in a superhero, Princess Glovebox muses. Fortunately, both you and the good king are used to these friendly jibes. The 98-watt light bulb goes away and everything begins to clutter about. The earth shakes and the very ground you are standing on is ripped open as gases spew forth from a moffat, which, for those without a dictionary handy, is a vent in the earth from which carbon dioxide issues, oxygen and nitrogen too sometimes. You are knocked unconscious in the commotion. When you come to, Princess Glovebox helps you to your feet. That was a close one, Tape. There's no sign of the moffat. Princess Glovebox says, let's not ask the king for any more mufflers for a while. But we can ask him to transform the frosted panel.
I guess I'm losing my touch.
If there's anything worse than a superhero with a fading power, it's a superhero with a fading power and a fondness for bad puns. But we did get a Kevlar vest and a scarf for our trouble. Actually, I think we'll loop back around to the north.
If you're interested, I could ferry you.
Because we actually need to go to the Yonkers Tube Station. Whoop. Couldn't it be west? But yes, we have another warlord to go bother. Poughkeepsie Warlord's Mansion. The party stands in the foyer of an ornate dwelling. The smells of the village come from a portal to the south, and some type of office lies to the north.
Yes. My mistake was trying to take Moscow from the west. Once I have Afghanistan in my grasp, I can march on Moscow from the south. And this time I won't do it in winter.
Yes, clearly the warlord thinks that he is Napoleon, which is insane. Because I am Napoleon!
Your Excellency, General Robert E. Lee of the Confederate States of America.
Greetings, General Lee.
Yeah, a number of the household servants walk in. Yeah, colognes, cosmetics, picture frames, number similar stuff, nothing useful.
Greetings, Emperor Bonaparte. I've come to say that I believe your campaign in Afghanistan is ill-conceived.
You don't say. Well, if you're such a great general, why were you sitting on the wrong side of the table at Appomattox?
Why does the warlord sound like James from Pokemon? But yes, this is a bit of a hint as to what we were meant to do here. Because if we try talking to the warlord ourselves...
News from the Russian front. Waterloo. Elba. Wappingers Falls.
Have you considered a long vacation in place of a name like the Happy Acres or Sunnyvale Rest Home?
Be thankful I don't send you to the guillotine for a comment like that.
Your office looks a lot like the office of the Piscataway warlord.
He was probably just copying the obviously superior artistry of my expensive French interior designers. Or it may be just a ploy by legend to save disk space. Who can say?
Anyway, going ahead with your scheme to attack Afghanistan would be an astonishingly huge mistake.
Famous generals, like myself, only discuss tactics with other famous generals, so quit wasting my time.
And with that, we are shuffled
Once
out.
the Khyber Pass is under my control, the Orient will tremble at my doorstep.
Alright, well, thankfully we do have everything we need to talk to him, thanks to my kleptomania. We put on the Washington uniform. We put on the wooden teeth. We put on the wig. Head northward.
General Norman Schwarzkopf.
The warlord peers at him warily.
Howdy, Emperor. I thought maybe you could use some advice from a master tactician. Face it, this Afghanistan idea just won't hold water.
Master tactician? Yeah, you beat the pants off Saddam. But what about that mess you caused when you came out of retirement to lead the ground war in Bosnia? Dismissed. Do you have a message?
Going ahead with your scheme to attack Afghanistan would be a really astonishingly huge mistake. You convince the warlord that you're George Washington and talk him out of his mad attack. Instead, devote his time to helping Ben Franklin found the postal system. All members of the party gain 2,500 experience points.
His Excellency's previous visitor, the one in the Alexander the Great garb, who convinced His Excellency of the need for the Afghanistan campaign, left this item behind. Perhaps you know him and can return it.
And it's a casino chip. And if we look at the casino chip, the chip is a plastic disc with Trump Casino Atlantic City imprinted on it.
His Excellency is not receiving visitors today, as he is consulting with Ben Franklin about devising a postal system, or he may be meeting with a young man named Columbus about a possible voyage which could prove once and for all that the Earth is round. It's so hard to keep track these days.
Indeed. Well, that is another mission down. we do have one more mission to take care of. And conveniently, it is... It is on the way to where we need to head next. And here we are in Freehold, where the prices are out of control. And I'm going to go ahead and save here, because this is where I had the issue with the game crashing, and the item that we needed being unavailable, because I accidentally transformed it into a muffler. But yeah, the shaman is charging too much.
What can...
Don't you realize the importance of affordable healthcare?
You wouldn't believe what the local hardware merchant is charging for a new MRI unit, or for a pair of leech tongues.
Okay, are you gonna lower the prices or not?
Look, I told you why I can't afford to lower my rates, so go away.
Alright.
Wait.
So we go to the hardware store.
Ah, a party of superheroes. Oh. Well, can I help you?
We heard from the shaman that you're charging way too much, which is upsetting the local economy. The merchant is more than eager to cooperate with an impressive band of superheroes such as yourselves. In fact, he prowls on incessantly until in desperation, King Midas manages to end the conversation by faking a seizure. The party huddles and identifies the following key points in the merchant's story. 1. Until recently he charged low prices, but 2. The local artisans who create his goods accepted an offer to work in Atlantic City at much higher wages, so 3. He had to import out-of-town artisans and house them at the hostelry, which 4. Charges such outrageous daily rates. And what the heck?
I don't know.
And we already got the answer about how you get to Carnegie Hall. Okay, so go to the hotel.
Greetings, travelers. Plenty of vacancies. Heated pool, free color TV.
Our merchant claims you've begun charging outlandishly high prices.
Well, I got, certain expenses, here and there. I got things to do,
What do you mean expenses?
Expenses.
No, I don't know. What are you talking about? Okay, look, I'm a man, I have certain needs, like any man. Winks, now do you understand?
Yeah, the brothel, man, the brothel. Their prices are astronomical.
Oh.
Look, I've explained why I have to charge such high prices to cover my...
Okay. I'll stop talking now so you can get back to your morose torpor. Alright, so to the brothel.
Hello there. What can we do to make you happy and comfortable?
Why are your rates so high, ma'am? I mean, not that your services aren't worth it, but it's rather out of line with standard regional costs.
Well, you handsome hunk of red ribbon you, there are certain infectious diseases which are an occupational hazard for us. They can be cured, of course, but lately our local shaman has been charging a fortune.
Couldn't you slow your rates a teeny bit, like 90%?
Sorry. There's nothing I can do as long as the shaman continues to overbill.
Alright. Ta-ta for now. Back to the shaman.
What can I do for you? Checkup? Cure? Lottery tickets?
Your high prices are particularly onerous upon the ladies of the brothel. Perhaps you could relieve their financial stress by establishing a barter system with them, trading your services for theirs?
Yes, I could accept such an arrangement. But do they have any Ecuadorian ladies? I'm only interested in Ecuadorian ladies.
I'll see what I can do.
Wait,
Okay, so back to the brothel.
Hello there. What?
The shaman has tentatively agreed to a barter his services in exchange for yours. There's this one catch: he has a fetish for Ecuadorian women.
Well, we do have an Ecuadorian, but she's leaving. This climate is much too cold for her.
Can't we work something out between you and the shaman?
The arrangement with the shaman just won't work. Juanita won't stay up north very much longer. She's always chilly.
Okay, ta-ta for now.
Let me bring this to Juanita.
She departs.
Juanita
later.
appreciates your gift, but does not feel it will be protection enough against the harsh local winters. If only she had something to keep the rest of her body warm.
Well, luckily we've got this fur coat, which, in my earlier attempt to record this act, I accidentally transformed, thinking, oh, well, it won't let me change it if I don't need it. In this case, it will. You give the man the fur coat. You're most generous. She disappears when we bring the fur coat to Juanita. As the man returns, the shaman shows up. He and the man converse quietly, then he goes off with an Ecuadorian girl who's wearing a scarf and a fur coat. The man, pleased that one of her major expenses has been eliminated, immediately decides to lower the rates at the brothel. At your request, she prints up a new rate sheet and gives you a copy. So, we head back to the hotel. Give the rates to the innkeeper. You give the innkeeper the rate sheet from the brothel. He agrees to lower his rate. He mimeographs his new rate sheet and gives one to you.
Ah, a party of... Well... Wait a minute while I crank up this old ditto machine.
And he hands you a piece of paper. So he and the shaman, give him the rate sheet. You give the shaman the rate sheet in the hardware booth, and he agrees to lower his rate. He scribbles something off in his prescription pad, tears it off, and gives it to you. He also nails a new price list of a tent's center hammer post. Pounding the hammer dislodges a casino ship from the upper reaches of a tent. It falls in the party's inventory with a light plink. All members of the party gain 2,500 XP. This is a sheet of paper in which the shaman has scribbled something. Possibly his newer prices, who can tell? All medical men have totally unreliable handwriting. Right. So what can we buy at the hardware store now? Well, still a bit expensive with what we've been buying lately, but much more reasonable prices upon the high-power force field Teflon jockstrap and concrete knee pads. And we will head to the Princeton Library, where we will hand in the videotape to the curator. Remarkable, gasped the curator. We have no programming from this period. Once we rediscover how to view such tapes, this tape you just handed me will no doubt provide a remarkable insight to the society of that decade. The curator shelves it in the videotape section of the library right next to the tapes labeled Space 1999, Episode 13, The Alex Trebek Variety Hour, 4/7/1997, and Parts 3 and 4 of the David Koresh miniseries.
Did you realize that this chip was wedged into the tape mechanism?
The curator tosses you a casino chip. All members of the party gain 2,500 XP. Alright, so that's 3 of our missions down. And we'll go ahead and head back to headquarters.
The commissioner's office will never give us credit.
Other members of the League gather around the inquiry about the Freehold shaman. You explain the problem is solved using the shaman's rate sheet as evidence, but of course, no one can read it.
Hi, I'm Professor Prescription. I'm looking for a league to join, but no one's interested in a superhero with such a useless superpower. I suppose I should just give up and go back home to Sheboygan.
Let's see. Look, you say impatiently, we'd love to hear your life story sometime, but right now we've got a big problem with a mission.
It's such a stupid, insignificant power. I wish my guidance counselor had never recommended I become a superhero. I guess I should have gotten the message after the first 600 rejection letters, but I've always been pretty persistent.
Love the Woody Allen impression here. Yes, very moving. Now, if you come back some other time...
Just what is your superpower?
Ask Princess Glovebox.
Oh, it's so silly and worthless, I hate to even mention it. Okay, but you have to promise not to laugh. My power is ability to read doctor's handwriting.
There follows a silent pause, and then everybody shouts and rushes at Professor Prescription, and shouts and whoops and generally scares him silly until he actually realizes everybody's happy and excited about his power. He has handed the shaman's note and instantly deciphers it, and it is indeed a list of the shaman's newer lower rates. The League Secretary sends the rate sheet off to the Commissioner's office, along with Professor Prescription's translation. And we just got success. Congratulations on success completion mission Summer Sky, Margarine, and Praying Mantis. And we do not have a Captain or Professor Prescription as an option. I'm going to go ahead and shift King Midas's inventory around a bit because we don't need him anymore, and honestly his stats aren't that great compared to a hero that we're about to recruit. So we'll go ahead and remove him. Probably shouldn't venture out without filling your party maximum size. Okay. We'll go ahead and take Captain Excitement. And just to make sure he does have a decent range weapon. And give him some armor. Oh, the excitement of inventory management, huh? Alright, well that puts us in pretty good shape for next time, because we're going to take a break from missions, having just gotten 3 of them done, and we're going to explore a very intense dungeon that we haven't approached yet, but I think we're finally ready to tackle. But thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, leave a comment if you are so inclined, and we'll continue the adventuring from here next time. Take care until then.